Fear. Fear is such a great thing, but then not so a great thing. We have this internal metric, this internal thing that causes us to, decide whether we want to feel the fear and do it anyways. I'm going to actually plug in. I noticed that my volume is not right. I'm going to plug in here. Much better. So, yeah, fear is a very interesting thing. And today, what I want to talk to you all about is fear and what my definition of fear is and why it's a liar, right? And I want us to understand fear is a liar, move anyway. Now, fear, as I mentioned at the beginning, is not something that we should take lightly. I really know that God gave us this opportunity to have a metric, something that's inside of us that causes us to pause, right? But what we have done, a lot of us in our corporate roles as corporate women and individuals who have done actually experienced a lot of trauma in their lives, we've made fear our friend and our ally, and we live through the metric, live through the lens of fear. And it's my contention that we need to feel this fear, understand what it is, and move anyway. And a lot of us don't have a positive relationship with it. I'm of the opinion that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of sound mind. And this is a scripture that I consistently repeat in my mind is that I don't have the spirit of fear. I have the spirit of sound mind. And what I like to do is I like to feel the fear and do it anyways. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So if you're watching this live or on the replay, what I would love for you to do is put in the comments what your relationship with fear is. Have you learned and understood how to manage it? Have you understood the idea of feeling the fear and doing it anyways? What's your definition of fear? So I do have a few, I'm a lover, most coaches, most speakers, we're lovers of acronyms because these things you can remember. And so my definition is something I know you've seen in these internet streets called fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And instead of really, I would say, believing that false evidence, you need to face everything and rise. If I was really, really good, I would have had it. I would have had it in here and pop up, but I did not. But so it's face everything and rise. And so that's what we do within the Rise with Diana community. That's exactly what I want you to find deep within your heart to do. And it's something that I know we all need to understand. And so every single week, what I'd like to do is I like to pull out our handy dandy weekly downloads that come out every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for you to be able to dive deep. Sometimes you just need something that kind of like comes into it's like a thought that comes into your mind. It just comes. That's how we do with our weekly downloads. Every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's here. And it's here to remind you who you are, whose you are, and what your assignment is. So I'm going to actually take out my glasses and I'm going to read this that fear, it whispers to you. It's not something that goes, sometimes it is. I mean, sometimes you're like, that's when that kind of comes to you, that's almost like this internal mechanism that's designed to have you pause, right? But unfortunately, this pause actually becomes a lifestyle. And then fear, the way it comes in and it slips in and it talks to you, is it actually breeds. It's like a mushroom, it just kind of grows, or like a weed that just grows. Fear instills doubt, feeds insecurities, and tries to convince you that you can't. I mean, its job is to convince you that it can't. I believe that fear's best friend is what I would call the devil. Anybody ever read this book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill? It's a book that I actually picked up. It was written in 1938, right after the Great Depression. Napoleon Hill's a famous author during that time period, and he wrote this book called Outwitting the Devil. And I want to read the back of it for you to understand what fear is, right? So, fear is the tool of a man made devil. That is so good. So, I want to read this to you why he wrote this book, and then I want to get into some of the details in our download. In 1938, just after publication of the all time bestseller, Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read that book, read it. Napoleon Hill reveals that he broke the devil's code, forcing him to confess his secrets. The resulting manuscript, Outwitting the Devil, proved so controversial it was hidden for over 70 years. Shannon Lecter brings us this important book, annotating and editing for a contemporary audience, using his legendary ability to get through the root of human potential. Hill digs deep to identify the greatest obstacles we face in reaching our personal goals, including fear, procrastination, anger, and jealousy. So, fear is a tool that is used to keep you wrapped up, to keep you small, to keep you hidden, to keep you out of the limelight. And again, I want to read this to you because it's just so good. So, some of us have become so accustomed to letting fear drive us that it simply sounds like our own reasoning. But as I said, fear is a liar. The only way to silence it is to move anyway. So, what I want you to know, and fear and resistance are cousins. And I talk a lot about resistance and why you need to have resistance in your life. And but fear is what will grip you and keep you and like actually what Napoleon Hill talks about is fear keeps you drifting. It shocks you, but then it keeps you drifting, like circling around. So fear sounds something like, if you want to apply for the promotion, even if you don't feel ready, you need to apply for the promotion. Why? Because you need to push past the fear, get past the pain barrier. If you're trying to have a hard conversation, guess what? Have the hard conversation, even if it makes you nervous. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm nervous and you need to examine that and keep pushing forward, right? Say yes to your dreams, say yes to your thoughts, say yes to your visions, even if they feel bigger than you. And I want to say that as I'm continuing to do these lives every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I understand that I have a goal that right now I'm speaking to 100,000 women. I am speaking to 100,000 Rise advocates. Why? That's the vision. That's the dream. And so the dream right now in my current reality, which in this 3D reality is that it's not even possible. I mean, no one's joining me. Actually, at this time I'm speaking, there are 0 people who are in this live. But in the dimension that I see, the lens that I see the world is I'm actually speaking to 100,000 women every single day, every single time that I get up. Why? Because fear does not grip me. There is no place in my life for fear. And the only way to get over fear is to do it anyway. So fear does not mean stop. It just means you're stepping into what matters most. So a lot of us, and this is most people, they really don't utilize these metrics to get to the next level. And it's unfortunate because so many people have just chosen to give up. They've chosen to just have the mediocre life. And what I know for sure in reading the Bible that I read is that I'm supposed to live my life to the full. And so fear will come, and I embrace that. Resistance will come. It's necessary. It strengthens me. Trials will come, of course, obviously. People will talk about you. Absolutely. Please talk. Not everybody is going to like you. I expect that. You see, within our community, we teach you these things. What makes you think that people will not say anything about you when you're doing spectacular work, you're doing your dream, and you're living a vision that you can't even see right now? So we have to consistently live in a different dimension. We have to always have lenses that see differently. That's not to say that people like myself and others haven't gone through significant trials that try to knock us off. Oh, I have several significant amount of trials that tried to knock us off. But thankfully, I was able to persevere with God inside of me, seeing my way through. And that's the beautiful part of being in a community and actually learning and growing and taking steps to implement things into your life that will allow you to see your way forward. And you know, the beauty of it all is that, like I said, when you're with other people who do this, it just inspires you to want to do it. I will say, even as an individual, I'm an athlete, I've been an athlete my entire life, and I consistently see my life through that lens. That if I put all of my energy into this specific thing, I will be able to handle the obstacles, the trials, the challenges, the intricate like trips that are going to come along the way. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there have been times where you look to the left or you look to the right and you're like, I just don't know if I can make that. But you can. And especially when you're hanging around other people who do the same. So I wanted to leave this with you because I feel this is the kind of stuff we need to hear more often in our public forums. We need to have people speaking like this more often. You need to be congregating with people right now. You need to be in spaces where you are with people who are doing these types of things. And so I want to encourage you to um, attend an event. If you are in the Toledo area or it's easy for you to get to the Toledo area, I would encourage you to attend an event that we are having on April 9th at Toll House in Toledo, Ohio. And I'm actually going to put this here so that you can see it. And actually, it is going to be an event that we're going to be talking about a lot of things. But one of the biggest things that we're going to be talking about is your worth. And it's April 9th at Toll House, and it's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you're coming in from Chicago, we know that you're on that other time zone called Central. So we hope that you can make it. Why? Again, you need to be congregating with people who are speaking like this, who are saying that you are worthy to conquer the fear that you might be dealing with right now, right? You really want to do that. And Angela Lucas, who is the co-owner of Toll House, all you gotta do is look up tollhouse.com and you will find events and you will see that event there. But Angela Lucas and I, we both went through a very difficult and challenging time, like a lot of people in 2020. Ours just happened to manifest in depression. We both lost a significant amount of weight and we were really not well. And we clung to each other to encourage one another to get past this fear. And what we knew was on the other side of fear was going to be our greatest work. And that's typically what happens with a lot of people. So Angela and I decided to come together and to talk about this and actually bring people together to share our experiences and how once we realized that we were worthy of moving forward and doing the work that we did, experiencing the growth that we had to share it with other people. So that's what we're going to be doing on April 9th. And then in addition, we're going to be talking about the Rise Advocates movement. And we're going to be graduating some graduates. We're going to be having a celebration. and it's going to be beautiful and amazing. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you there April 9th at 6 p.m. at Toll House. The other thing, if you can't make it to the You Are Worthy event, then shop our courses. We have our courses. You just go to riseadvocatesacademy.com courses, and you'll be able to see our courses. These are short mini courses for you to be able to implement very easy. So take the time to do that and shop our courses and see what we have available for you. That's it. That's all I have for you today. So please put in the comments what your relationship with fear is. Please let us know how we can support you in any way. And just remember that fear is a liar. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Move anyway. All right. And we look forward to seeing you on April 9th at the You Are Worthy event. Shop our courses. But regardless, we will see you back here on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then,